This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we have a Bosch EcoSense dishwasher that isn't draining. So when we ask it to drain, we get no response. I can hear maybe a humming sound, but nothing's coming out. First thing to try is this air gap located up by the kitchen faucet. So we're going to pry off the top of it. I already removed the little silver cap that lifts straight off. And I find a little, it's like a fish bone in there. I'm going to pull that out. Sometimes that's all it is that's causing it to not drain. So you can just use your fingers, or you can use a little needle nose pliers to pull that out. And then you just put it back together, and that may do the trick. If that doesn't work, the next thing to do is remove the filter, and then you can use a sponge, or you could use a turkey baster to get all the water out. And you want to look in there and try to remove this white piece here that covers the impeller. I'm using a standard head screwdriver to kind of pry out this tab at the top. And then you should be able to pull that with your fingers. If not, you could use a pair of pliers to grab the same little tab and just lift it up. And then the impeller cover will come out. And then you can reach in and see if there might be a little seed or a glass shard from a wine glass that's stopping the impeller. You should be able to use your finger to easily move the impeller. And if it's stuck, you can use some needle nose pliers to just pull out whatever might be stuck in there. I find a lot of things like little chips from a mug. Let me pull out a little more water so I can see better what's going on underneath the impeller. A lot of times you'll find like a seed or something that just didn't get rinsed well before they put the dishes in. So I found right here a couple of little lemon seeds or maybe orange seeds. So this could be a cause of why it isn't draining, because the impeller can't move. So it's definitely something to check. Then you can put it together and see if it works. If it doesn't work, there's a couple other steps we could take. But I would always start with the air gap up by the kitchen sink, because that's very commonly where the clog is. So I'm just pulling that little bit of water that's left in there out. And then I'm going to put the impeller cover back on, because that didn't seem to have any effect. So we're just going to line it up and then push it back down into position. And then we have to push the tab back in too. So push it all the way down as far as it'll go, and then I'm going to reach in there and see if I can grab some more of that little debris that's in there. I'm using the standard head screwdriver to just push that tab in so it locks into position. If this thing comes loose, it won't drain. That white piece has to be fully locked into place. I'm going to put the filter back on. Maybe I'll clean it first, just to make sure there's no junk caught in there. Usually a dirty filter will not be enough to keep it from draining though. But it's good to keep these clean. So you can just use some hot water. Sometimes you can use an old toothbrush to help you get off some of the junk. Put that filter back in, make sure it's locked into position. Put the spray arm back in, just push it down. We'll try the drain again. Just hold down the cancel button for about 3 seconds. So still no drain, so we're going to unplug it or turn off the breaker. We're going to get the dishwasher out from the cabinet. This dishwasher, the drain hose is in the back of the dishwasher. Usually you can get it to it from underneath the sink, but on this one I'm going to have to take it out. So I'm going to remove 2 Phillips head screws from the top here that are holding the top of the cabinet in place. So we just remove those screws, and then we can get the dishwasher out of the cabinet. We have to lower the back feet, so we're going to turn with the standard head screwdriver counterclockwise the center piece, and that'll lower the back legs. And I'm going to take my pliers and then turn to my right the front feet, and that lowers them, actually brings them up into the dishwasher, which lowers the dishwasher so I can get it out of the cabinet. So I'm going to do that on the left front foot and the right front foot. And you can do this with a standard head screwdriver, works, or a pair of pliers. And I'm just going to use a standard head screwdriver to help me get the dishwasher loose from the cabinet, and I'll pull it out. And again, this one's a little unusual because the drain hose is connected behind the dishwasher instead of under the sink. So now I can see the drain hose and the fill hose and the power supply. So I'm going to use my driver to loosen the hose clamp, and then I'll pull the drain hose off. Looks like there's something caught in there. Bring it up to the sink. So I'm going to just let that drop. It looks like a little seed came out of there, or maybe half of a seed. I got it plugged back in. I'm going to see if it'll drain now. So I'm just going to press the start button, and then it'll drain first up. So now the water's shooting out good. So it looks like that thing was just caught in there, and it was just keeping the water from draining. So we did the air gap first, then we checked the impeller, and then lastly we checked the drain tube, and that's where the obstruction was. So I'm going to put the drain tube back on, and I'll tighten that hose clamp. And then now I can see that it's draining really well and the water's shooting out. So those are the good steps to take on this model to see if you can cure the draining problem. First, try the air gap. Second, try to free up the impeller. And then lastly, you can try the drain hose. And you'll be able to get your dishwasher going again. The smartest thing though is just to rinse your dishes before you put them in, so there's no debris, and you won't have the dishwasher clogged up. So I got it back into the cabinet. I'm going to raise the feet now by turning to the left. That brings the dishwasher up into the cabinet. And I'll turn my standard head screwdriver to the right clockwise, and that's going to raise the back feet. I just want to make sure that I get the dishwasher really level and pushed up pretty strong into the cabinet. And I'll put the two little screws in there. So I'm just turning the screw so the back feet push up to get it really level. I'll raise the front feet a little bit. Just take your time, keep adjusting until you get it nice and level and even with the cabinet. I'll put the two Phillips head screws back in so that it's secured by the brackets into the cabinet. There we go. Door operates well. Put the basket back in. And then we'll test it one more time. It's draining good. So we're going to put the toe panels back in. Put on the big one first with the long slots. Put the second one in. And then we'll be putting in the 2 Phillips head screws. I'm just going to look to make sure the holes are lined up first. So we've got the right one. And now the left one. And it's working again. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe when you get a chance.